Hi, Annie. Thanks for joining me here for Canvas Corner. How you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me, Michelle.
You're welcome. Happy to have you here. So, Annie, you were one of our pilot faculty in our Canvas pilot this semester, and I'm really curious to connect with you and just hear one thing you really like about Canvas.
Yeah, I'm really excited to share about Canvas. It's been a great journey this past semester, and not only have I found it beneficial and really enjoyed it compared to my experience with Blackboard, but I've received a lot of positive feedback from my students who've really preferred using Canvas over Blackboard.
So, what is it that you like so much?
I think as a instructor, I have found just building the course online has been very easy. It's to navigate each section when I create modules has been really hasn't taken a lot of time. It's really easy to follow. It's really easy to connect and link, within the course.
So, it's the linking part that you really like.
Yeah, and I've also found that students say that it's easy for them to follow because of the links in between the courses. So you can, interlink files, you can interlink assignments or pages or discussion boards. And so it's really easy and accessible for students to navigate Canvas course.
So, for those who might be watching who haven't actually used Canvas yet, it would be helpful to see what you mean by that. Can you give us a quick demo?
Yeah, I'd be happy to. What you can see is my homepage.
It looks beautiful.
Well, thanks. I'm excited about this course. So I've been teaching an early childhood studies course, creating and supporting reciprocal family and community networks. And this online course has been really a fun class to build, and it's been very engaging with the students. And so what I found is you'll see very simply on my homepage, I have announcements, assignments, discussions, grades, people, syllabus, very simple, and modules. So basically it's from the modules that the students access the course. If I go in really quickly, I'll just show you. Obviously we're towards the end of the semester, but there's, the syllabus and getting started. And so then I have assignment tab. And then what my modules are set up are by week. The way I always start, for example, with the overview page. So each week, the students get a basic overview, and I keep this pretty consistent through the semester. So it gives a little description, what are the learning objectives, any tips. And so, for example, they can open up to get a sneak preview of what they're going to be doing for the week. So this is what I was talking about, the connections to the links. And then here, it's so simple, they can go on to the next page. And then what I do is I provide instructions. So the first is just an overview of the week and then the instructions. And then again, as you can see, here's a brief overview. So there's discussion boards and reflections and slides that I provide, things about conference they attended, some voice threads, some activities, and then things that they need to do for next week. So often the students have said they've appreciated this because this gives them the opportunity to plan their time accordingly that will work for them. So they usually open this beginning of the week, and then they get the idea of what the week course is going to look like for them, the module. And then of course, if they move through, they'll go right to, the next piece.
So what it sounds like you're saying is that by clicking on that next button, they have the option to go through a module in a linear fashion.
Exactly.
And then by interlinking areas of the course in the content you create, you give them the option to proceed non-linear.
Right.
Non-linearly, yes.
Yeah, they actually asked that. I did a Zoom meetings with them at the beginning to kind of get an idea of what their learning style and preference was. And so it was from their feedback that I decided to. So I didn't set it up where they had to finish one page to move to the next, because they said they really had busy schedules, student teaching, working, etc. And so they needed that flexibility to determine their own schedule and the rate they're going to do it. So not only can they, move to the next page and they can go to the overview, but if they open up the module tab, everything opens up for that week.
Great.
even though
Annie, could you show us how to create one of those links?
yeah, oh my gosh, it's one of my favorite things. So, okay, so if you're under like week 1 and I wanted to build something, I'd use the plus sign, and it's so great because then you can, it gives you the option. If you're creating an assignment, you would just select assignment. If you're creating quiz, or you're going to add a file or a content page or discussion board, for example, and then there's all kinds of external tools, Michelle, but I love the content page. So I usually select the content page, and then I will either I can interconnect, right? So these are already existing pages so that I can refer back to something that we did in a prior week, which is great because it can loop back, or I can build a brand new page. If I created a new page and said demo and add the item, it's right there. And so I can publish it. And if I open it, so it opens up, and then you edit it. So here it's so great. So you can embed pictures, you can embed all kinds of different links. But if I wanted to say, open this link, then all I would do is go over here to the course on the right, and everything is there. So I can interlink any of the pages that are existing, like I said, and all I do is select it and then connect. So let's say I wanted to go to this assignment that I developed a course directory. I would just select that, and then there's the live link. So then students can enter anywhere within the course that's already built, or any files that are, it can be external files or whatever, or even images. And then down below, that's just what I was showing you in pages, but you can link to the assignments, quizzes, announcements, modules.
Nice.
So I know there's a really simple demonstration, but I have to say that, as a professor at CI, I have found building an online course with Canvas very easy compared to Blackboard. And
well, that was really helpful, Annie. Thanks for sharing.
you're welcome, Michelle.